Well, hello, and thank you all for joining us for this webinar Wednesday. My name is Sharon, and I'm with SIPA, your Colorado Government Authority, helping you get more information and services online and offering Colorado government's grant funding. In today's webinar, our Contract Manager and Legislative Liaison, Kara Finch, and Customer Success Director, Dwayne Tucker, will be sharing all about SIPA and how you can work with us. Before we get started, please go ahead and turn on captioning if you need or desire it, and note that during this webinar, you are muted. If you have any questions or would like to communicate with the presenters at any point during the webinar, please do use the chat or the Q&A function. We'll unmute folks at the end for any remaining questions. We also have some poll questions for you and a post-webinar survey that we hope you will provide your feedback to us at the end. Please join me in welcoming Dwayne and Kara, and we thank them both for their time in this incredibly important presentation so you can work with us. With that, I will turn it over to our presenters. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm Kara Finch. First of all, thank you all for joining us. As Sharon mentioned, I'm the Contract Manager and Legislative Liaison with SIPA. So I negotiate our master contracts with our suppliers, and then I also handle various contractual questions and issues that come up from both our suppliers and our customers after we have those contracts in place. I also track legislation during the legislative session. That legislation is typically ones that either directly impact SIPA or indirectly impact us through our customers and the work that we do. Prior to joining SIPA in August of 2019, I worked in higher ed procurement at both the University of Colorado and the University of Notre Dame. So I'm going to turn it over to Dwayne so he can introduce himself quickly, and then we'll come back to me.
Thank you, Kara. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. We're excited for the chance to talk to you today. I'm Dwayne Tucker. I'm the Customer Success Director here at SIPA. I've been in this role for about 3 years. What I do all day, every day is connect to all of you, all of our government customers across the state, to the variety of products, solutions, and suppliers that SIPA offers to you that we'll be talking about in detail today. Prior to coming here, like Kara, I also have many years of experience in higher ed procurement and enterprise technology agreements. So with that, I will hand it back to Kara and we'll get started.
All right, Dwayne, if you want to, oh, perfect. Awesome. So the purpose of today's presentation is to provide you with clarification and just a better understanding of who SIPA is, why you as a Colorado government can work with us. And then we'll also dive into some of the benefits of working with SIPA versus going directly to a supplier or to perhaps a cooperative. So first, who is SIPA? What does that even mean? And how do you even say it? We get that all the time. We are the statewide internet portal authority. We call ourselves at SIPA, not SIPA, which we get often, but we won't be offended if you slip. What's cool about SIPA, other than the team that works at SIPA, is that we are the only organization of our kind throughout the entire country. So we're your government sector partner, and as such, our goal is to connect Colorado residents to Colorado governments, all through technology. That's clear in our mission to provide those services through modern business practices and innovative technology. It's also present in our vision to transform the Colorado government online service delivery using technology. And it's exercised in our value proposition of providing residents with easier access to their governments. That's done through our oversight of the Colorado.gov portal and also through a broad spectrum of the technology and professional services contracts that we provide available to Colorado governments. All right, so we're going to go to the next slide. And it's important to understand that SIPA is also a Colorado government. We were written into statute in 2004 as an independent political subdivision of the state. We're a special purpose authority. We are not a state agency or a local government. So we're sort of that little snowflake in state government. We're also not subject to administrative rules of a state agency or any local government. Specifically, we're not bound by the state's procurement rules when contracting for electronic information, products, and services. So that does give us some flexibility in how we negotiate our contracts. And it also allows us to absorb some of the risk that's inherent with that flexibility, which allows you to benefit from. We were created to provide an efficient and an alternate way for Colorado residents to transact with Colorado governments. We offer sort of a one-stop shop of electronic information products and services. Now, you might be asking, why do you keep saying electronic information products and services? I use that term purposefully because that's what's in our statute, but it's basically any technology product or professional services that helps connect Colorado residents to their governments. Per our statute, we're authorized to enter into contracts with suppliers, and subsequently, Colorado governments are authorized to work with us. And since technology is constantly evolving, our statute is not limited to a point in time regarding the types of technologies and services we can offer. Instead, it was drafted in a way to grow and evolve as technology needs and opportunities do the same. And it specifically directs SIPA to explore ways to improve access for the public and Colorado governments and to implement those improvements. We often get questions about how we're able to serve our Colorado governments. Again, the legislature made this really clear in statute. A state statute allows all of you to contract with SIPA, meaning all state agencies, cities, towns, counties, special districts, school districts, and public institutions of higher ed. All of those, basically any public entity in Colorado can use the contracts that we put in place. And by doing so, you're meeting your own procurement requirements, and that's all authorized by the state statute. If anyone's interested in writing down the statute to go look it up later, it is Colorado Revised Statute, Section 24-37.7-104Q that I'm going to talk to specifically. That states that all state agencies and local governments are hereby authorized to enter into and do all things necessary to perform any such arrangement or contract with the authority. This is exciting stuff, I know. But I mentioned this specific part of the statute because that is a really powerful part of our statute in that it's what specifically allows any Colorado government to contract with us. And in doing so, you're satisfying your own procurement rules. So it's what allows you to kind of think of us as an extension of your procurement or your purchasing team. A little bit more just about who we are. We are self-funded, meaning we don't take any dollars from the General Assembly, and we're governed by a 15-member board of directors. Now you're probably asking, how do you get money then? So we do receive fees from payment processing and also from the, just saw the chat. Yes, I'll put that reference in the chat. We do receive fees from payment processing and the sales of technology-related services and licenses that are available through our portfolio. We maintain funds to cover our administrative costs, but the majority of the fees that we do get, we reinvest into Colorado governments through various grant programs that we have. The question in the chat was to provide the reference to the statute, so we will be sure to provide that. Again, it's 24-37.7-101 through, I think, 107. So we'll provide that, though, in the chat. All right, we'll go on to the next slide. So our supplier process. We do have a way for identifying what suppliers might be a good fit for our portfolio. So first and foremost, what we do is we ask any supplier who might be interested to go to our website, fill out some information. At that time, we make sure that any supplier who we're going to have a contract with fits within our mission. And we're very mission driven, which I'm going to reiterate is connecting Colorado residents to government through technology. So you're not going to see a contract for like office supplies through us. It's all going to be technology related with that connection of residents and government. So as I mentioned, the first step is for them to, a supplier who's interested is to visit our website, submit a supplier interest form, and then someone from SIPA will follow up and ask some questions about the products and services that are offered, how that fits our mission, and then determine if we have a current need in our portfolio. We'll also discuss pricing and accessibility. We'll perform financial and reference checks to make sure that they're financially sound and that they have a good track record of being good business partners. And we'll also verify that they have the insurance requirements necessary to work with Colorado governments. Then the fun part comes. I start negotiating the contract with the supplier, assuming that we've identified that they're a good fit. If we can come to an agreement, which we normally do, we sign the contract. We then introduce them to the rest of the SIPA team, and their contract is then available for use by Colorado governments, and they're off and running. So lastly, I'm going to talk about on the next slide how to work with SIPA from your perspective. So,
And Kara,
yes.
real quick, our poll question asking if anyone has worked with us to acquire any services before today. 53% said yes, 24% said no, and 24% said they weren't sure if their organization has or not. So we're excited to have those of you who haven't yet.
And those of you who had, hopefully you're finding some value, even if this is information you may have covered before, and you may have some questions that we hadn't considered. So we welcome those as well. So how you work with us, as I mentioned earlier, we negotiate the master contract with the supplier, and that contract is going to cover terms and conditions, pricing, and it ensures that state security standards and insurance requirements and all of those new requirements within the state are met. That contract, though, is between SIPA and the supplier. A Colorado government enters into a one-time agreement with SIPA, and we call that an eligible governmental agreement. Eligible governmental entity agreement. We're going to refer to you as an EGE often internally. So if you ever hear that term and you're like, who's that? It's you. So that's the agreement. It's a one-time agreement. It's what allows a Colorado government to work with us. It just kind of codifies all of that. Not codifies, that's the incorrect word, but it memorializes that agreement. If you are a current customer of SIPA, so that 54%, y'all already have an EGE agreement in place. So you're good to go. For those of you who are new or may not know, that would be the first step, is making sure that you have that agreement in place. And you can reach out to us to get that. Since our statute satisfies your procurement rules and requirements, you can then purchase a variety of technology products and services from us through our portfolio of suppliers, which Dwayne's going to go over in a little bit. SIPA will work with you, the Colorado government, and will also work with the supplier to make sure that the quote or the statement of work has all of the things you need in it. But once that document is complete, then you're going to issue a purchase order to SIPA, and SIPA is going to invoice you. So you're not going to pay the supplier directly, you're going to pay us. The supplier is going to perform the services or the products, but that business transaction, as I mentioned, is between two Colorado governments, between us and you. So that was a lot of information. I welcome any questions, but I'm now going to turn it over to Dwayne to talk about some of the more exciting aspects. I don't think he's going to mention a state statute once. So you're lucky for that. And he'll provide some additional information about our portfolio and just the benefits and overall process of working with us.
Okay, thank you, Kara. Yes, I will refrain from mentioning any state statute references. However, that background is very important. It really sets the table for what I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm going to cover three big areas of services, products, the value proposition that SIPA offers to all of you, every government in the state of Colorado. I'm going to start with Kara just talked to you about the contracting process we have with suppliers. I'm going to talk to you about the variety and the breadth of the products and solutions we have available to you through our extensive supplier network. The second thing I'm going to talk to you about, and this is going to grab all of your attention, I'm going to be talking about our grant programs. And it's a very timely webinar today because both of our grant programs, the next cycle of grant applications is right around the corner. And then the third and final thing I'm going to chat with you about this morning is we offer a great deal of no-cost resources. Going back to what Kara mentioned earlier, we are government serving government. Part of that and part of our mission is that we provide a great deal of resources to you at no cost that help you then connect with your residents. So I'll close with that. But let's start with the products and services that you all have access to. As Kara mentioned, through the contracting process, we have contracts with a variety of technology suppliers. I'll talk in a little bit more detail about that. You, as a customer of SIPA's, if you have that EGE in place, you have access to all of these solutions, and it's through a very simple procurement process that Kara mentioned, and then we have sort of a sales cycle process that we use, which is also very simple, that I'll cover. We basically have broken that portfolio into two buckets. What's here on this slide is the first half of the bucket, which we call our digital government solutions. This is things like payment processing, websites, enterprise form builders. So as mentioned earlier, one thing that SIPA does is we manage the Colorado.gov platform. On that platform, if you choose, we can build websites for you. We have deployed over 500 different government agency websites on that platform. So if any of you at any point are looking for, if you're looking for a new place for your website, we would love to talk to you about that. Payment processing. We have a variety of payment processing options available to you. We have, I think, almost 900 different payment processing solutions deployed across governments in Colorado. We have some options there for you, very flexible solutions, and it meets all the appropriate security requirements. The other thing we offer in the digital government services bucket is what we call Enterprise Form Builder. This is essentially online forms, electronic forms. Many agencies, prefer to use electronic forms as opposed to the old paper forms. This is a very robust form solution. You can integrate payment solutions into these forms. So if you're looking at any kind of moving anything or creating some new forms, we can help you with those. Moving on, so the other half of our technology solutions bucket in that portfolio is what we call the technology solutions. We have these generally divided into these 7 categories that I'm going to walk through individually in just a minute. But I do want to highlight, we have expanded our supplier portfolio and the number of supplier contracts we have over the last couple of years, and we're now at over 30 different suppliers that are available to you through just the fact that you're a SIPA customer. So also of note, in addition to having 30 suppliers, we have multiple supplier options available to you in each of these 7 categories. And I think that's important to know. I'll walk through sort of our simplified procurement process in a little bit more detail, but it's important to know that if you're interested in a solution in one of these categories, if you come to us, I'm going to be able to give you more than one supplier option for you to evaluate and pick the best solution. So I think that's important to remember. So let's go through each of these 7 categories. First one, IT professional services. This is a bucket of services that we offer that covers all kinds of IT technology solutions, IT services specifically, and even up to very complex consulting services if you would require those. So any kind of an IT service you would need, this could be things from, if you want to do a new roadmap, a strategic plan around your technology, you want to evaluate new technology solutions, you need some project or product management support, and you need some outside help from a third party to help you with that. We have several suppliers that can help you across that whole spectrum of IT services and consulting. Web-based solutions and licenses. This is a very popular category for us. We resell a number of very commonly used and very popular software solutions and titles. Think Salesforce, Google, DocuSign. What else do we have? Microsoft, for example, Qualtrics, any of those kind of license-based products. We resell a number of those. And as Kara mentioned earlier, we have some flexibility in our procurement rules that governments typically don't have. And any of you that have ever tried to negotiate a software contract directly with the software supplier know that it can be a painful, lengthy, and very arduous process. Fortunately, through our model, we've done all the contracting with you with the software suppliers. So if you're looking to purchase several of these kind of software solutions, please just let us know. If it's in our library of solutions, we'll offer you discounted pricing that we've negotiated ahead of time and can make the acquisition of software very, very simple. Accessibility. Obviously, this is front of mind for everybody in the state with HB 211110 coming online in full effect starting July 1 this year. Over the last couple of years, we've added several different supplier partners that can help you with any anything in the accessibility space. That's everything from just basic document remediation up to staff training around how to create accessible documents and maintain accessible content on your website. We can help you with accessibility roadmaps if you're looking at a longer term kind of permanent solution to how you manage accessibility in your space. We have people that can help you with that as well. So anything around accessibility, we can offer you some support and expertise. Community engagement, we have a variety of tools that help you engage specifically with your residents and constituents through technology. This would be things like if you need solutions for meeting management, or you need to bring, certain meetings, or, think town council or city council meetings, or if you have boards that want to, make those meetings available electronically, we have folks that can help you with that. Cybersecurity, obviously always front of mind for everyone, keeping our data and all of our information secure and protecting all of your customers' data is top of mind. So cybersecurity, again, we offer the full gamut of solutions here, everything from basic, things like penetration testing, just to get in and see if there's any gaps in your environment, all the way up through training. We offer solutions that you can, monthly trainings that your staff would take, for example, to stay current on the best cybersecurity practices, all the way up through, right, very complex cybersecurity deployments. If you're looking to bring in extra, tools or different business practices around your cybersecurity, we have folks that can help you with that. Data management, again, the whole litany of things available to you in the data management space, from basic data visualization, data storage, data architecture, how you manage your data, how you integrate multiple data sources into a single platform, any of those kind of data solutions, data security, data privacy. So anything in the data space, we have solutions there for you. And then lastly here, the last category, implementation and integration. This is if you are deploying a new software solution and you need help standing that up, or integrating it into your current environment, or if you want to sort of integrate multiple platforms, multiple products together into a single solution so that you can visualize that information, or for whatever reason you would need to do that. We have folks that are very good with helping you there. And that would include not only the technical components, but if you have like change management involved, you're bringing on a new solution, part of that implementation could include change management or training for your staff or your residents. So that's sort of where we have all of those buckets now, these 7 different categories across, again, all these different technology spaces. So if you have any needs in these spaces, we would love to have a conversation with you about that. So moving on. So let's say one of those categories resonates with you. Say something in the cybersecurity space, for example, resonated with you, and you're saying, well, that's good to know, but how would we actually get access to that? So as I mentioned earlier, it's a very simple process. It's really broken down into these 5 simple steps. Very streamlined. We can do this very quickly. Sometimes we can do this in a matter of a week if we need to, if everything falls into place. But we can expedite getting you from we have an idea, SIPA has a solution, to actually beginning work with that supplier. We can do all of that very fast. Very simple process. The first step is just to reach out and connect with us. You would normally be reaching out and getting a hold of either me or Beth Justice, who also does the work with our suppliers and customers. And all you would need to do, you can get a hold of us, and you could have just a very fully baked out solution. We've already written requirements. We know exactly what this solution needs to look like. We just need SIPA to connect us with a supplier to do this work. Or you can get a hold of us and say, look, we don't have a fully fleshed out plan yet, but we know we need to get from point A to point B. Like, for example, we want to create a new strategic technology roadmap, but we don't really know exactly how we want to go about that. So anything from you're fully ready to go to it's just an idea in your head, just give us a call and we'll have an initial conversation with you. The second thing we'll do is that conversation with you, we'll try and dial in on your scope a little bit more, make sure we understand the requirements that you have and what your goals are with any kind of project or initiative or technology solution. Once we have that information, we go to step 3, which is us taking what you want to do, bouncing that off against our supplier portfolio and our contracts, and identifying which supplier, or more often than not, which suppliers we have that could support that work with you. So once we've identified those suppliers, we set up meetings with you and your team and one or more of those suppliers. We have a discovery call. The supplier has more questions and takes more time to identify exactly what you're looking for. We have back and forth conversations. We do this, we can have multiple conversations with one or more of those suppliers. After that process is over, and again, we can do this very, very quickly. Once that process is completed, we get an agreed upon statement of work. As Kara mentioned earlier, you and the supplier and SIPA, we all agree that this statement of work is how you want to go about managing or executing this project. And once that's done, then we send you the formal proposal on SIPA paper, and then you provide us with a payment mechanism, whether that's a PO or a task order or whatever your agency uses. So again, process is very simple. We can do all of this very quickly, or we can do it more slowly, depending on your resources and availability and the timing of when you need this project completed. So keep that in mind. Again, it's a very simple process. And I really want to reiterate what Kara's mentioned earlier, is that this whole process happens outside of a formal RFP. I'm assuming several of you on the call today have participated in an RFP. And while there are times when an RFP is the right solution, oftentimes if we have the right partner or the right solution available to you, you could just skip the RFP process entirely. Again, we meet your procurement rules, so you don't have to do an RFP. You can go through this process instead. And the nice thing, there's many nice things about doing that. One, we can do it faster. Two, we lose all the formality that you typically are subjected to in a formal RFP process, where we can do this iteratively. We can do this through discussion. We can get you to a solution and a statement of work that works for you, right, just through a few very brief conversations. So please keep that in mind if you have a technology need coming up in the near future. So I'm going to now show you that process I just showed you. That's one way for you to connect with us and our suppliers and our solutions, but we have multiple other ways that you can do that as well. Obviously, Webinar Wednesdays, that's what we're doing here today. Most of our webinars actually aren't SIPA focused. They are technology and supplier focused, and Sharon coordinates these. They're typically once a month. We have a variety of technology topics that are covered in these webinars, new emerging technologies, where we'll have our suppliers come on and tell you what they're seeing in the marketplace, how they're working with other public sector customers, and what's available to you through their portfolio. So those webinars, there's no cost to those. We record those webinars. You can find those on our website. Regional workshops. This is something we started last year. So we're in year 2 of these workshops. And we decided last year that one great way for us to engage with customers and bring our value proposition and talk about everything SIPA does is to actually go on the road and meet you where you're at. So we have done these workshops in locations all over the state the last couple of years. We have more coming up this year still. And again, we've been to many, many different parts of the states. These are usually half-day events. There's no charge to you. We feed you breakfast. We do a brief SIPA overview like this is on the agenda, as well as we typically have 2 different supplier partners come and again talk to you about a very critical technology topic, or give you more information about the products and services that they offer to you. It's a great informal way for you to talk to suppliers and talk to us about how we can help you. And then the last big event we do is the user conference. This is an annual event. We do it every September in Denver. I'm not sure. Yeah, Sharon just posted a poll question there. Have you attended any of our in-person events like the user conference or the workshop? I suspect some of you on the call have attended the user conference. I think last year we had about 450 people at the event. This is an all-day event, free of charge to you. We have breakout sessions and keynote speakers and, different kinds of sessions on all kinds of technology topics, including oftentimes we'll have a supplier partner and one of our customers that have completed a successful project talk about what that process was like. So September 4th is the user conference this year. If you can attend, as soon as we open up registration, we would love to have you join us for that day.
And excitingly, if Dwayne didn't mention this, we're going to be at Empower Field at Mile High. So it's going to be an amazing new location for us. We're going to be able to hold a lot more people. We're excited to have all those sessions, and we should be getting that registration open again sometime, hopefully next month. So be on the lookout for that. And interestingly, most of you say you haven't attended an event with us. So we hope you will join us for something because we would love to meet you in person.
Yes, I will reiterate emphatically what Sharon just said. We love meeting you in any forum, whether it's at a workshop, at a conference. If you want to learn more about SIPA or talk about the solutions and you want me to come to your office or set up a Zoom meeting with you, it's very important to how we stay current and make sure that we're offering the right mix of products and services to you. So any of these forums that you want to engage with us, we would welcome that opportunity. So Sharon, I can't see the chat because I'm running the deck, but I don't know, are there any other comments or in the chat at the moment? If not, I'm going to move on to the second thing I want to talk about, which is really one of the most exciting things is our grant programs. So we currently have two different grant programs in place. The first is our micro grant program. This is a program that provides funding to help all of you, governments, implement technologies with the goal of enhancing how residents gain access to the information and services that you offer as a government entity. So these micro grants, the award amounts are go from I think $250 with the maximum amount of $10,000. So any project that you have coming up that could use some funding assistance up to $10,000 would encourage you to consider applying for a micro grant. This program has been in place since 2010, and we have awarded 441 of these grants since 2010, totaling over $2.1 million. Last year alone, we awarded $215,000 to 39 different grant recipients. So this is a very robust program. We provide many of these grants every single year. They can cover a wide variety of technology solutions, again, all focusing on connecting you with your residents. But you can visit our website. We have some really detailed information about examples of past awards. So if you're curious about what kind of things we've awarded in the past, you can go to our website and get that information. And I also want to call out that the application for this year's micro grant cycle opens on Monday, April the 21st. So it'll be open for about 30 days. So you have a little bit of time to think about, is there a grant that you could apply for this cycle? The other grant program we have is our newest one. This is our SIPA Gov Grant program. This is a much larger grant program. Again, the goal is to support and help drive government technology projects that change how people interact with their governments here in Colorado. Generally, there are some criteria that you can find on our website, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. But generally, what we're looking for in the Gov Grant are things like impact, right? How much of your constituency are you going to impact with the solution? So we're looking for things that are high impact, things that are innovative. Is this an innovative technology solution, right? That can be part of your grant application. And then the thing we've added that we'll be adding for the next round of the Gov grants is what we're calling replicability or scalability. And what that means is a couple of things. One, can the solution, if you're awarded a grant and you deploy a solution with those grant dollars, is this something that can be replicated with other government entities? Would other government entities find value in the same sort of solution? So that's one thing to keep in mind. That'll be part of what's looked at in the evaluation for the next round of grants. And then the other one is we realized after the first grant application that if you're doing something really innovative and something that's going to have a lot of impact, you may not know at the beginning of the process exactly what every piece of the project's going to look like. So one thing we've added in as an option for you for this next grant cycle is that you can put in a request where the first part of the process of your project is to do sort of a pilot program to help then inform you, right, on how do you then deploy the rest of the solution and ultimately get to the goal of what you want the grant money to do for you. So keep that in mind. Again, there's a lot more information on our website about the requirements and the evaluation criteria and things like that. But before I give you some more information on the Gov grants, Sharon just popped another poll question there. Yeah, how many of you have ever applied for a grant?
Either the SIPA microgrant or the Gov grant, or do you plan to apply in the future? As Dwayne mentioned, our microgrant does open April 21st and it'll close May 23rd. And we're not entirely sure when the Gov grants will open. It'll be sometime this summer. All right, and here's our results. We have 31% yes and 50% no, and 19% aren't sure if maybe their organization did before. So that's exciting.
Okay, well, thank you all for responding to that question. And I just want to call out that I mentioned this is a larger grant program. These grants start at a minimum award amount of $25,000. And what's exciting about it is there's no cap. There's no maximum amount that you can request. Okay, so you can ask for a whole bunch of money here for some really big technology project you have. And I should also mention for both the microgrant and the Gov grants, you can apply for more than one in the same application cycle. So if you have a couple of different things you want to do, feel free to make more than one application. I mentioned we did the first round of these Gov grants just last year. It finished last fall. And we are currently evaluating applications for round 2, which the application cycle closed in January of this year. So we'll be making those awards for round 2 in May. But as Sharon mentioned, we're going to be doing round 3 of the Gov grants. That application period will open up. We don't have an exact date yet, but likely in July. So again, if you have a large technology project that would benefit from some grant funding, be thinking about getting an application ready when that opens in July. I also want to note that ahead of the Gov grant application cycle opening, we always do a pre-application webinar as well, where we'll have our Gov grant director will be hosting a webinar, giving you much more detail on, tips on how to create your application and more details on the process. You can also go to our website, to the grant page on our website right now, and find a whole bunch of resources and information about the Gov grants, including the evaluation criteria. We've added some application checklists on there, added a budget template if you want to use that as part of your application, because that's a requirement that we need to see a budget from you. And then there's an FAQ section on there as well. So I'll stop there for a second. Sharon, anything in the chat on grants?
Yeah, well, we had a question from Robert asking if the grants were available for business starts. I'm assuming you mean like a government entity is getting spun up from new. And we can certainly help with that with like websites and email, because you'll need the email marketing and all that. So we can do Google Workspace, we can do Microsoft, all those things that'll help you get going so that you can do what you need to do. So I left your email and Beth's in the chat for him so he could reach out to you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, well then moving on, the last thing I want to cover, I mentioned this earlier, is that we do, again, offer a lot of no-cost resources. This is baked into our mission. This is all of us at SIPA, all day, every day, what we do is try and connect governments and residents through technology, through a whole variety of means. One of those is that we do provide a number of no-cost resources to you. I have a couple examples here that I want to talk about. You can find more information on our website, but as I mentioned earlier, cybersecurity and accessibility are two of the technology spaces that we're most often talking to customers about. So for some time, we've had a variety of resources available to you. On cybersecurity, you can find links to all kinds of different agencies and organizations that help with cybersecurity, everything from helping you with some basic information about cybersecurity all the way up to what happens if you actually experience a breach, right? So we have some templates and worksheets for those of you that are maybe closer to starting or just building out your cybersecurity program. We have templates that you can download and populate that are specific to your organization. We have worksheets. We have all kinds of training documents that you have access to. So anything you would want to do in cybersecurity, feel free to take a look at those resources. Similarly with accessibility, we're continuously adding more information to this page on our website. Sharon keeps this updated, monitoring what's going on with the legislature. Are there changing requirements? The state's accessibility program, you have access to that information through our website. And then we've even included some how-to guides, like how to create accessible content and tutorials as well on different accessibility components. So if you're looking for any help with accessibility, you can also find that on our resources page. So just a couple slides left here for you. So just to summarize, again, I want to reiterate that we are government serving government. We're your government sector partner, helping you connect with your residents through technology. Again, as Kara mentioned, every government is available. Every government has access to all of our resources by becoming a SIPA customer. If you haven't filled out that EGE agreement, that's all you need to do to become a customer of ours. We have that broad portfolio of technology solutions, both in the digital space, which are payments and websites, all the way through that broad and robust portfolio that I walked you through a little while ago. We've also talked a little bit, we can be an extension of your procurement operations. Again, we have that simplified procurement process that we can use to help you get access to these solutions and deploy them and get working with third-party suppliers very, very quickly. And then again, as we've mentioned a couple times, any of our profit, we reinvest back into the state through grants, through the no-cost resources and other things. And that's really, really tied directly to our mission. So with that, the last thing I want to show you is stay connected. So I think, Sharon, I forget the percentage of people that either weren't a customer or didn't know if they were a customer. This is a great way to stay connected with us right here for those of you that have never used any of these resources. And I want to specifically call out the SIPA newsletter. You can sign up for the newsletter and it gets delivered to your desktop every month. And it's got all the current information about SIPA, about our events, if we're bringing on a new supplier, or any other current information. When we open up the grant cycles, that's information, and that's the timeliest way to stay up to speed with us. So if you're not subscribed to our newsletter, I would encourage you to do that. And with that, that's what we have. We would love to take any questions or comments you have.
I am working on unmuting everyone, or you can use the chat and the Q&A function if you do have any questions and you just want to type them in. And Kara, I have to tell you, I'm really excited that I'm going to be known as a snowflake. Thank you for that. All right, any questions? Don't be shy. Hey, Dwayne, what was the most exciting service launch that you did in the past year?
Oh, that's a good one. So we get to work with government entities, local government, state government agencies. We work with all of them, and we get to do we help them with a lot of really cool projects. I would say one of the most impactful things we've done recently is working with the Department of Early Childhood. That was a new state agency created a couple of years ago, and they had um, government mandates to stand up a new universal preschool program very, very quickly. And right, high impact operation. This was going to provide preschool access for a lot more children and families in the state of Colorado. And we did several things with them very quickly. We stood up a website for them. We helped them deploy a service desk, a help center desk very, very quickly. We helped them with getting their roadmap in place. And we did a whole bunch of work with them, and we were able to do it on time, on budget, multiple projects with them, and they were able to launch the UPK program, the Universal Preschool Program, on time. And then they're now in the second year of the program, and we help them with their year two roadmap, which then Colorado has jumped from, like, in year one, we were like Colorado's like 40th in utilization of a statewide preschool program. In year two, they've already jumped up to number 8, and we were able to provide them the resources to really help them get that roadmap for year two and help that number go up so high so quickly. So that's been pretty exciting and rewarding to help launch a brand new program that impacts so many students and families in the state.
Excellent. Thank you. We've got a question from Chad, but real quick, I want to get to John, who put one in the Q&A asking what percentage of our organizations served are small because they have 3 full-time employees.
Oh, as a percentage, most of them are small governments. We are up to about, Sharon, 1,100 different government entities or customers now. I think it's about 1,100. So obviously the majority of them are going to be smaller and local governments. We work with every state agency, but I mean, that's a finite number of agencies. So the majority of our customers are what we call local government customers, like Carrie explained earlier, which is towns, cities, counties, education customers. And many of those are small. So we have built, we do websites and payment processing and other things for a lot of very small governments. And we are fully scalable. We can work with a government of any size with any budget. So good question.
Chad, what have you got for us?
So I work for an organization and we have some regional events. And we're interested in setting up a digital storefront. And I was wondering if we were to do that, how customizable is that? If we needed to change it at some point, is that something that would be possible? Those types of things.
A digital storefront, like being able to purchase items online?
Yeah, it would be to pay for memberships in this case, or participations in a conference, that type of thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Our online forms would be great for that because you can customize those however you need. And as Dwayne mentioned before, you can attach payment processing to it. So if there's a charge they need to pay to sign up for an event, for example, you can include that so that as they fill out the form to register, they make their payment and it's all done at once.
That's great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And yes, Heather, that is Access Gov is Engagement Builder. Let's see, anything else? Beth, did you have anything you wanted to share? All right. Sounds like not. I guess we're at the end of our questions. Y'all are pretty quiet, so hopefully you got a lot out of this, and we are definitely looking forward to hearing from you. Oh, wait, Skylar asked, when you say you can build websites, is it a website dedicated for payment options for the organization, or how does that look? So the websites can be it's a website. You can embed payment processing in your website so that it is an option for people. If they would like to, if you want them to be able to make payments for anything, you don't have to include that. But a website is, you putting up the information that you have to share that they need to know. And it's built on our colorado.gov platform, which is a Drupal platform. And our portal partner, Tyler Colorado, works with you on that. Oh, and there's Beth. What did you have to
Okay.
say?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes.
I just want to say thank you so much. These services are awesome. I didn't realize you had so many. As you know, Sharon, we are small, rural, limited resources, decreasing revenues, all the sad stories. And I feel like your services can really act as a multiplier for us to take what little we have and really reach out. I didn't know you guys did communications. That's awesome because I hate saying this, but you know, apathy is alive and well, and trying to reach and talk to your people is super difficult. But I sent a question to you all earlier today about our 2025 goals for our county and maybe how, you know, Dwayne or Beth could look at it and just say, hey, here's how we can help, because we are super interested in using technology to leverage what we do have and make a bigger impact. So thank you. I sent you, I emailed you all my stuff. So I look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Excellent. We're looking forward to chatting. All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. We were really, really glad you were here. We hope this was informative for you. Please don't hesitate to contact us with any of the follow-up questions. Reach out to Dwayne or me or Beth or anyone on the SIPA team. You can reach at sipa@cosipa.gov. We do have more webinars coming up. So join us on April 30th with Ruben Brown, who's going to share Anatomy of a Breach, lessons from a real-world cybersecurity attack. And then we'll have more scheduled for the future. So keep checking back on those event pages. In the meantime, check out our new website, see what else we have to offer. As Dwayne mentioned, subscribe to that newsletter to keep up with everything that's going on when those grants open up and any other services that we can help you procure. If you want to return to this webinar, we will be getting this up on our YouTube channel after we get it processed. So be on the lookout for that. And please fill out that survey that's going to come out at the end, because we'd love your feedback to make these even better for the future. Thank you again for joining us. Dwayne and Kara, thank you for your time putting this together. Really, really, really appreciate it. And we hope you all have a wonderful day.